Hey, this is your boy WANZ, author of hashtag the Book of WANZ, thrift shop singer. You know, I'm gonna pop some tags. And you're checking out Sav Lab. Keep in mind, it gets no realer. Peace.
Little does she know that I couldn't wait to do almost anything to share her space. This feels too good to rush. Patiently I'm living for her touch. You piquing my curiosity with a level of reciprocity I never imagined.
Hashtag the Book of WANZ.
Yeah.
It's a book of tweets and phrases and parables that I wrote and put out on the internet when I was touring. Just things about life, encouraging things, realizations about who you are and what you're doing, because I spent a lot of time wondering who I was and what I was doing. And it was just inspired by conversations that I had with kids outside of shows. We do a lot of thinking when you're in the middle of nowhere and the bus is rolling and half the people are asleep. And this is what I did. I just collected them and put them in a book. It's just talking to people. I mean, like I said, I would, you know, we'd get to a venue and after lunch, sometimes before lunch, sometimes before breakfast, there'd be people waiting in line for a show that doesn't start for another 15 hours. So of course I will go out and talk to them. I used to be them. You know, my favorite artist is in town. And it was a little game for me, but what you strike up a conversation and you start figuring out that, you know, kids in Belgium are a lot like kids in Federal Way or Iowa or Boston or San Bernardino or Australia, Thailand. We're in Poland. And, you know, I've been chopping it up with about 30 kids most of the day. Tends to be about time for sound check. And as I go into the building, I realize that there's a girl following me. She's like 15, 16. And so I'm looking at her and she's looking at the crew setting up stuff and stuff like that. And I asked her, are you going to the show? And she goes, I couldn't get a ticket, but I just wanted to see it. And I said, you couldn't get a ticket? She said, no, this is so amazing, I just couldn't see it. And she's just, I mean, her eyes are big as pie tins. And she's just looking at them just setting it up, right? And I filmed it, you know? I put it up on my YouTube channel because to me that was so amazing. It was so amazing that I was part of something that inspired people and drove their emotions so hard. I mean, that's the most amazing thing. City after city, story after story, they're all basically the same. They're all connected by those songs on that record. Thrift Shop was just, you know, a small part of it. Just a small part of it. I mean, people seem to forget, you know, this guy had 3 records out before the heist. And he grew his fan base over years. So it was no surprise that, you know, while all the other rappers out there who are popular are talking about bitches, money, cars, dope, he's talking about shopping at a thrift shop. And if you're of a certain income level, you've had that experience, so it resonates with you, right? Boom.
Are you down with taking a walk with me and opening your heart to mine? Do you doubt it? Tell me if you're about it. Are you open to the possibility of loving me? Or do you doubt it? Tell me if you're about it. Tell me if you're about it.
Yeah, I lived with somebody who used to say, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And I mean, there's more to life than how many rocks can you move in a night or in an hour, you know? And here's the other thing, from the other side of that coin, the business community, big business, how much talent are they passing up on? You know, Jay-Z's a great example. You know, he went from a cat who was running shit on the street. He's a multi-million dollar conglomerate.
And you know, I'm the first minister.
So the cat that's, you know, your average dope dealer, he's got business skills. Why don't you retrain his ass? He's locked up more time than why don't you teach him how to run a business? Teach him how to finance that business. Teach him how to market that business. So when he comes out, and you know, he doesn't need to go back to what he's used to. He has options. And you know, most of the cats that are locked up, you know, besides lifting weights, reading the Bible, I'm not sure how many of them are actually trying to prepare themselves for when they get out. Because they're, you know, because especially cats with felonies. Nobody's gonna hire them. But you know what? You got a brain. As long as you got a brain, you can put your shoe on. You could do anything.
Create your own opportunity.
Exactly. Make your own world. That's what this country was founded on. Remember? Pilgrims almost died. If it wasn't for the Indians, none of us would be here.
Well, like, you know, taking your own path. I mean, not only are you a Grammy winner, but you wrote your own book recently.
Well, you know, not every, you know, I'm not Macklemore. And I don't have the history of, I don't have time in the game creating music like he does. You know, his grind was different than mine because, you know, when I had a band and another band and another band, I never got the opportunities to play in front of the people to build them, right? It was a lot harder to do in the 90s. It was a lot harder to do. And so, you know, when my friends from Pearl Jam and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, when they got signed and they went away, it's like I only tried to do more. I tried to go hard. But everybody was doing it there. And so the competition got stiff and we were not chosen. Okay. But I kept going and going and going and going and going. So, you know, having had the experience of, you know, lightning striking in that place, and then, you know, all of a sudden it's like, wow, you're number one in numerous countries. You know, the video you're in has millions of views. What are you gonna do? Well, dude, I'm not, you know, I wasn't 30 years old like he is. I'm in my 50s. Nobody knows how that works. Nobody's done it before. You know, I'm gonna go talk. I'm doing a TED Talk next month.
Really?
Yeah. I got asked to do a TED Talk, and you know what my topic is? You too are a unicorn. Because I had a kid in France ask me that once. Do you believe in unicorns? And I thought, wow, you know, I used to believe there's no such thing as an old pop star. But I'm in Paris getting ready to do the second of 3 shows at this venue. And I said, well, I guess I have to. I am one. But you know, I used to talk to kids outside of shows, outside of every show. I try to mix it up with the kids and ask them, you know, and it would affect me in a way that stayed with me, and I tweeted that stuff out, and that's where the book came from. You know, being reminded of experiences, looking at the similarities between these teenagers and 20-somethings and people who are in their 40s and 50s and 60s who have massive life changes. People die, divorce, you know, in domestic violent situations, depression, you know, cancer. You know, all these things happen. And when you're older, you're supposed to know how to handle it. But you know, when you find yourself suddenly single at 48 years old or suddenly unemployed, it's amazing that you have the same fears that a 17 or 18-year-old does. Will somebody love me? How am I going to get this job? Because, you know, when you get old, you don't get hired as often, right? You're supposed to have been self-made, but if life didn't work out that way for you, and that's what the book is about. You know, because I was thinking about those things. What am I going to do? And, you know, the mind is, I've said it forever, the mind is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. It's a blessing and a curse.
double-edged sword?
Always, you know,
How so?
because you know it has the power to build you up and it has the power to tear you down in ways that no one can ever see. Only you do. Life is an inside job. If you haven't got it together up here, ain't nothing gonna work out there. It's that simple, you know. And some people will call it mental illness. Someone just bad luck, but I mean, you know, I struggle with depression. Depression is real. It can be a sunny day outside. People are, you know, buying my book or buying my music. And I've done a show and people sign autographs and all this other stuff. It happened to me when I was on the road.
Really?
Yeah. You know, you get back on the bus and all of a sudden you really don't feel like much because you really don't have that one close friend that you want to just chop it up with and talk about bullshit. You know, but that was part of the deal. You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, so I'm not getting high. I'm not drinking with those, you know, the people who do that. And I'm 20 years older than everybody else, and I didn't hang out in the same places. Therefore, I'm not part of that social group. So a lot of times I was alone.
What got you out of those songs?
Like I said, blessing and a curse. You know, the internet got me out of those things. I wrote music, you know, trying to put together beats, teaching myself how that works. You know, because I knew that, you know, Thrift Shop wasn't going to be, it's not going to be famous forever, and I knew that. So, you know, it's like, how do you prepare for after? Well, nobody's done it with somebody my age before, so, I don't know. You just start pushing buttons, see which one's connected to the one that says door open. You know what I mean? Yeah. They all say door open. It's just, you know, you got to pay attention. I said this this is in the book. 70% of life is paying attention. 75%. 20% is making a decision, and 5% is actually acting on that decision. And then that whole equation inverts. Because after you've made the decision, right? After you've acted, there's another decision, and you evaluate, it turns over, it starts all over again. So, you know, like my father said, there's only two things you have to do: die and make decisions. I don't recommend the former, so you better get damn good at the latter. So this is the first song I ever wrote on guitar. I wrote it in 1982. I've been round the block of life more than once, and lucky with fate, and lucky with love, but it just doesn't matter. What matters to most in uncertain times is keeping the pace, don't get left behind, and that's all that matters. You can't always tell where the lightning will strike, can't always see all the danger signs, and after you fall from your mountain high, love will be waiting, love will be waiting.
Let's go. WANZ, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. You know, everybody does it different, so, you know, my way doesn't work for everybody. Thank you. I don't have a problem. My way isn't going to work for everybody, and nobody, you know, not everybody's going to agree with me. That's fine. You know? Not everybody wears the same clothes, drives the same car. Not everybody has the same color eyes. You know, we're different. But, you know, there is a level on which we are all similar. And if more and more people start discovering that level and living on that level, like I said, like I've always said, there's only one species of human being. Thousands of insects, thousands of mammals, but only one human being. And when you start backing away, you start seeing the picture, you start seeing all the similarities, and you start focusing on the similarities rather than the differences, then there won't be an immigration problem. There won't be a language problem. There won't be a sexual preference problem. Why? We're all human. Get over it.
Are you down with taking a walk with me? Are you down? Opening